Yeah.
See, Tyson's downfall is largely related to many things. Everybody falls. They just get too big.
Yet again, C. Tyson's ruin is to a great extent connected with numerous things. Everyone falls, they simply get too huge. It's too unmanageable. Joe Rogan has quite recently uncovered why he imagines that Jake Paul will beat Mike Tyson in their forthcoming session. Then again, Eddie Hearn, the unmistakable Matchroom advertiser, feels somewhat unsure on the forthcoming battle, reaffirming his suspicion in an elite meeting with the favorite spot. He said it's troublesome. You know my perspective since V given interviews on it previously, yet in the event that you say anything pessimistic, you're a skeptic. I got the occasion. I understand what individuals need to see. They need to see freak shows, and that is the very thing that it is. In addition, Hearn admitted that he could quit watching the match out and out regardless of whether it gushed on Netflix. He added, "It'll really do all around well. Individuals will tune in, yet it's not the best thing in the world. Everybody assuming that you grew up watching Mike Tyson and he's perhaps of your most noteworthy warrior ever. The last thing you maintain that should do is see him get back in the ring at 58 years of age and lose to Jake Paul." Hearn then, at that point, referenced that it unsure would be on the card, recommending that it could end up being an incredible evening of boxing and reason that they would see. He said the overall agreement from the easygoing crowd is gracious. That is somewhat of an oddity show. I'll watch that. Who knows what it'll be on the card. Perhaps it's an incredible evening of boxing. We'll see. When questioned about his arrangements to tune in for the match, Hearn demanded that his choice relies on the type of the starter sessions. He said, we'll see what's on the undercard. I don't realize Shaquille O'Neal communicated his anxiety for Jake Paul, whether or not he wins or loses against the enclosing legend Mike Tyson. The occasion that Paul capitulates to Tyson's ability, a figure who once held the regarded title of the world's unparalleled boxing champion. Paul will end up protested public embarrassment in the midst of an overall streaming crowd. What is your take on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson battle? This approaching, I believe it's marvelous. He's Mike Tyson. First of all, could watch recordings of him preparing constantly. A couple of competitors him are being one where their feature reel gets my card, where I'm like, what the yet assuming that you're Jake Paul, you feel significantly better about beating 57 y old Mike Tyson. You believe he will win. Do you think Jake Paul is the most loved? No. I'm saying on the off chance that Jake Paul ends up winning, does he truly feel better about beating a 57? I would feel it. O'Neal remarked on the large webcast addressing whether Jake Paul would feel far better about beating Mike Tyson no matter what the point of view. It's apparent that O'Neal isn't especially excited about Paul's choice to face a rival 30 years his senior, while his kindred hosts seemed enraged. Toured by the session, Shay's energy remained observably stifled. This, you ruled a very much like period. You're more youthful than him. How about that Tyson take his out? I realize he can, assuming he leaves like old Mike Tyson with the music and the hood up neglect hang on both of you have for getting 2 words father time. Your overall genuine pessimistic right currently. I'm trying to say, like, if on the off chance that we could all do it, I'd in any case be play the transcending G figure keeps a resolute faith in Tyson's getting through capacity to release crushing punches inside the squared circle anyway. The unmistakable 30-year age distinction predominantly shifting for Jake Paul can't be neglected. Others stand out to the ages, including UFC President Dana White, who has habitually stressed this perspective. Also, White has out and out dismissed the thought that Paul harbors yearnings of securing a world title. He, as of late, said he would rather not be a regarded contender. Or what Jake needs is to bring in cash. Individuals who follow Jake Paul don't buy Jake Paul's battles, so Jake Paul needs to battle individuals who can sell real compensation per se. Then again, apparently Strickland harbors a serious revulsion towards Jake Paul. The ex-UFC champion finds it absolutely unfortunate that Paul is set to go head-to-head against Mike Tyson, who is 30 years his senior. Powered by his hatred, the MMA contender releases a flood of cutting comments communicating his energetic objection. Adding to the fray, he conveys a harsh caution to the issue kid at the enormous fight that will occur between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. The Shimo realizes you needed to fight with Jake Paul. I needed to kill Jake Paul. Strickland stayed undaunted in sending off blistering scrutinizes pointed unequivocally at Paul. He considers the impending session between the two as ailing in taste. Moreover, Strickland got straight to the point when it came to Paul. What precisely did he express it? Meaning, how old is Mike Tyson? 60, 57, 57. Jake Paul, 27. You are a shame of a man. You are the embodiment of shortcoming. You are the filth of the earth. The way that you even have a stage or anything of that nature is a slight on society with crude trustworthiness. He communicated his craving to totally overcome Paul and his scorn for the change of a YouTuber into a fighter. Adding to his disclosure, Strickland clarified that assuming they at any point ran into each other external the ring, he wouldn't hold back. Act to cause hurt, who cares about anything else? You genuinely make me sickened. And assuming I at any point experience you, in actuality, I trust that I don't lose my and go to jail. While the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson conflict has made all the promotion underneath the surface, the issue kid harbors a hint of frustration over one more unmaterialistic patient whirled around his debut MMA session. In spite of mumbles flowing about a possible rematch among Paul and Nate Diaz, the murmurs never set into the real world. So during a new portion of the BC with Jake Paul digital broadcast, Paul got straight to the point in his rebuke of the ex-UFC champion and regarded figure Peacock. Everybody's presumably going to attempt to get in on this in some structure or style, so indefinitely I'm actually down to battle anybody whenever. Yet a many individuals in this game are that is the very thing I've come to figure out they would truly prefer not to battle. So this large number of super battles Nate D is a MMA, every one of these genuine piece-created men, as you can see during a discussion about how his Netflix arrangement is reshaping the boxing broadcast scene. Paul startlingly got sidetracked. The Disney light proclaimed his preparation to take on all challengers, recommending that these sessions be spilled across stages, for example, Netflix and Amazon Prime Video anyway. As per Paul, not every person will battle. Rather, they simply need to discuss making such battles. In April 2021, Ben Askren confronted Jake Paul in a profoundly expected session, eventually surrendering to a first-round knockout. As of late, Askren was found out if he and Paul finished things enjoying a positive outlook, and Askren said, "No, I sort of left it in enmity with Paul. I just left and I left. Definitely I got my compensation and left. I got compensated well. I mean, it would have been more pleasant assuming I had won clearly, as the expectation works for what could be the feature episode of 2024. Jake Paul ends up wrestling with blended feelings over not confronting Nate Diaz in the ring yet. Maybe there's a silver lining to this botched open door. In the meantime, Paul, as of late, reprimanded previous enemy Tyron Woodley for his estimate in regards to their impending confrontation amidst a digital recording discussion about Paul's impending session. One of the hosts raised Woodley's gauge for Paul's battle individual. Well, you thumped him the out, yet he likewise believes you will get thumped the out. Tyron Woodley is fought or seeing Mike Tyson's thumping your head off. Well, he additionally anticipated that he would knock my head off. That is valid at that point. An idea emerged from one of the hosts. Why not have Paul investigate Tyson's most recent preparation film? He said, I couldn't say whether you've seen his new preparation film. Yet it's crazy, as Paul saw the recording with strong fascination. He wound up dazzled by Tyson's spryness and ability, yet remained undeterred and safe stage. I figure we ought to address that somewhat more. Yet this is him at 57. This is what I watched before I made the parlay, that he was taking you out, so you have a parlay and stand by. No, what the perceptible, let me see this bab. Yet imagine a scenario in which he takes you out. Yet when Judah leered him his sweetheart addressed, imagine a scenario where he takes you out. Paul had encouraged her to turn away. Moreover, Paul is interested about Tyson's hitting power. Subsequently, Paul strikingly broadens a test, preparing himself for a definitive standoff. In the equivalent web recording, Paul expressed, I need to perceive how hard he hits Mike. I truly need to see, brother. How about we see every one of the legends, the fantasies, on the grounds that you're Iron Mike Tyson? Yet I have an iron jawline. Individuals realize that I make effort. He proceeded to say that he will refute everybody and that they are misjudging his capacity to deal with Tyson's solidarity. In the meantime, an inquiry emerged among the hosts in regards to the capability of his forthcoming session to dominate the PV viewership gathered by the Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor standoff. Paul radiates certainty that their looming conflict will easily shroud its ancestor when nudged by his co-have about the probability of outperforming Mayweather. McGregor's viewership. The 27-year-old shared his view